Welcome back. Meta ordered to pay more than $500 million in that child safety case in New Mexico. Our Julia Borston tracking that this morning. Morning, Julia.
Good morning, Carl. Well, this is the latest in a series of cases that have been called social media's big tobacco moment, with a New Mexico judge ruling that Meta's platforms are a significant contributing factor to the youth mental health crisis. Now, Meta is ordered to pay $560 million, most of that going to fund treatment for people harmed by its apps, on top of the $375 million in civil penalties it paid as part of this trial with New Mexico earlier this year. Now, the judge is also ordering Meta to make a number of changes to prevent kids from under age 13 from using the platform and to minimize the negative impact on users under age 18, such as giving warnings, working on age verifications, and also limiting notifications to kids and teens. Now, Meta saying, quote, "We disagree with the ruling and we will appeal. We work hard to keep people safe on our platforms and have been transparent about the challenges of identifying, removing bad actors and harmful content." Now, Meta shares are actually up today about 1%, possibly because the ruling is not as bad as it could have been. The ruling, Meta does not have to make these changes during the appeal process. The court awarded far less than the $3.7 billion the lawsuit was seeking, and the judge did not mandate a total algorithm overhaul. But the judge did say one reason he's not mandating major tweaks to the likes of autoplay or infinite scroll is that they are so widely used. So those features could be at risk in the other cases, which also include YouTube, TikTok, and Snap. And there are a range of other lawsuits in the works, with the next one a trial later this month in which Meta will defend itself against a coalition of state attorneys general accusing it of designing addictive features. There are another set of trials happening in October against YouTube and TikTok as well. Now, Meta reported $2.4 billion in legal expenses that quarter, which contributed to its profit decline. That speaks to the massive cost and potential distraction of all of these lawsuits. Guys?
Yeah, I was just curious how you think these legal challenges affect, if at all, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg's AI strategy. I was looking at a year-to-date performance of all the hyperscalers. Meta is actually the worst performing one, Julia, down about 9%.
Yeah, interestingly, one of the factors in this lawsuit is the judge says that Meta needs to design AI features to be able to identify if the people using its products are under age 13. So the judge sees AI as part of the solution here as well. But you're right in that Mark Zuckerberg really has his hands full. He is working on the core business, the advertising business, as well as trying to build Meta into a force when it comes to AI, potentially building out that cloud business that there's been so much speculation about. And then separately, you have to think about what kind of distraction this might pose to Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, just looking at the cost of these legal fees, I can't help but think about Microsoft and the distraction that antitrust lawsuit posed to Microsoft at such an essential time. You have to wonder how hard it is to keep focused on AI when you're also dealing with all these other issues.
Yeah, it's a good point. Never a dull moment. Julia, thank you. Julia Borston on Meta.